Iowa Theme Park Podcast, number 6, Adventureland Predictions. It's time for the Iowa Theme Park Podcast with your hosts, Nick McMahon and Jack Sailsbury. In this episode, we will discuss our predictions for future things to come at Adventureland Park. Thank you for tuning in to episode 6 of the Iowa Theme Park Podcast. I'm Nick McMahon.
And I'm Jack Sailsbury.
Today we have Eden Mullen joining us again, and we're going to talk about our predictions for Palace Entertainment, what they might put in, what they might take out at Adventureland. Jack, you want to start us off with what you think?
Well, I think just kind of taking a look at the history of what Palace has done is important. Just so that you know and can see any patterns or whatever in what they've done for other parks. And kind of what I mentioned in the last episode that we did about Palace. A few years after acquiring the last two big major theme parks, they invested in them with thrill rides. Whether it be Boulder Dash or Phantom, they've made big splashes with them. Or not Phantom. Was it Phantom? No, it was Skyrocket. Yeah. Either way, Phantom, Skyrocket, whatever. So I think we could see a very big addition in the next few years for Adventureland from Palace.
Okay. I mean, I think they should go full on, put an axis in. You know, an axis would be an excellent investment for the park. If they can time it right, they could be the first one in the country to get one. First park in the country to get an axis. Kind of like they were the first park in the country to get an Infinity, Gerstlauer Infinity. Put a great lighting package on it. I love lighting on rides. I think they could take a few things out too. We could put something where underground is, or see a revamp of the underground.
Palace is also pretty notably a water park operator. They operated water parks, I think, for much longer than they have theme parks. So they have a lot of experience in that field. And I would not be surprised at all if we saw a water park expansion coming.
Going back to what you said, Nick, the Axis coaster may actually be a lot more possible than we would have thought maybe a year ago. If you look at how Kennywood has been lasting, they got a world record-breaking roller coaster in 2019 by SNS with the world's tallest inversion and the most inversions in the US. And
was that Steel Curtain?
Steel Curtain, yes. Adventureland has just acquired Dragon Slayer from SNS as well, which was a custom free spin. And Adventureland has previously worked with SNS before with Space Shot a long time ago. I could very easily see the Axis coaster being the next investment with Adventureland's Adventureland and Palace's good relationship with SNS. Not to mention, we do have quite a bit of space as well as space to replace things with. These Axis models, a lot of the layouts that the official SNS website will show you could easily fit where, say, Underground is or behind Outlaw Gulch. There's many places you could do this, as well as a custom layout.
Yeah, that was my next thing. You know, where would we put one? People talk about where could we put, or what could we put where the remainder of Dragon stands today. The water really makes it hard for me to envision another coaster there, just because Dragon Slayer has taken up half of its footprint. So it makes it hard for me to envision a coaster there in that spot, but I suppose anything's possible. There's also quite a bit of space out by Outlaw Gulch, but I know that that's, set up for the Ren Fair. So it's hard to say.
I think that it's much more of a challenge to put a coaster over water than a lot of people think. You don't see that very often. And I think that it's probably something that the water dissuades a coaster there a lot.
Oh, I would agree 100%, but I don't think Palace is the kind of company that's going to leave what remains of Dragon just sitting there for another 10 years. they got to fill that in with something.
If you look on it, there is plenty of land right next to Tornado where Dragon previously stood, especially with the loops and the lift hill are. It is possible to put a smaller coaster there, but I don't think you'd be able to put something the size of Dragon.
I think that, yeah, if anything is going to end up in Dragon's spot, it'll probably be a family coaster that kind of just goes out in like a triangle over the land and then back. I don't think
Something kind of like along the lines of like a wacky worm or something like that.
Well, no, I think you could fit more than a wacky worm in there, and I don't even think a wacky worm would fit because of its footprint, which is weird. But it just doesn't make sense to see a big coaster over the water there. Well, as
Like,
much as I would like it, I don't see it happening.
there are some thrill rides and roller coasters that don't have a full layout that go back and around, back and forth like a swing. I could definitely see something going like that going into Dragon's actual station, but not going out over the water. Something like a Premier Skyrocket 2 or even an Intamin Impulse coaster.
I think a Skyrocket 2 is too long. I think they would have to really tamper with how the island is laid out if they wanted to do that.
I feel like we haven't gotten a major. When's the last time we got a major like thrilling flat ride? That would basically be Storm Chaser 2013.
Yeah, 2013, 2014.
So I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a coaster enthusiast through and through. I love coasters, always will. We've gotten a lot of them, and I would love to see more. But I'd also like to see a few thrilling flat rides because it's been a while. I think we need some of those to help us be competitive too.
Especially with the amount of new family flat rides coming in for 2022. There should be some more thrilling rides to complement that, especially if the family rides are replacing some of the original thrill rides that we used to have. Stuff like Falling Star or the Lighthouse.
Yeah, I'm gonna really miss. I mean, I guess you could say, not change subject, but I guess you could say Rock and Rainbow kind of falls in that middle of the road.
It doesn't. That's still a kiddie ride, I think. It is at most a family ride. And even then, I really don't think that's going to be that much of a draw.
It's been so long since I rode one of those. I think last time I rode one, Worlds of Fun had one, and I think I rode it.
Yeah, they still have one.
It's been years for me, but it's like, I was really upset. I mean, I guess I shouldn't have been, but I wasn't surprised, but seeing the splash over go away, only because I never got to ride Adventureland splash over because every time we went, it was down, which was pretty typical of that ride. Worlds of Fun had one called a Thunderhawk, and that thing, water destroyed it, just like they destroyed all of them. But it was one of my favorites to ride.
Yeah, last year was definitely not a great year for thrill rides at Adventureland between Dragon and Splash Over. It would be good to see some thrill rides get reintroduced. It is also interesting to think when Dragon Slayer was getting put in, I was thinking there'd be more just because of the size of it and the ride time. I was thinking more about it as a thrill ride, and not so much of a coaster. I mean, obviously it is a coaster, but it's still, when you plan it into your day, it's not like Monster, where you like make a time for it at the beginning of the day. Usually it's not the first ride that you go to. It's like as you're walking past, if you see there's a short line, then you're going to it and you're going to ride it. You don't make a time during the day to like know that you're going to get on it.
I could agree with that. Here's the other thing. I think Palace would benefit from adding a log flume somewhere in the park. Eden, I know this is not going to sit well with you. Unpopular opinion
I have
here.
a very unpopular opinion. Is that I absolutely despise log rides, but I cannot shake the fact that it would benefit the park. It won't benefit me, but it'll benefit everyone else.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. You have to look. You can't look at just what one or two people want. You have to look at what the general public wants. And I think the general public would definitely support having a log ride of some sort at the park. They took it out, obviously, because it had its challenges. Don't get me wrong. Monster is perfect in every way. I don't miss the old log ride, but I feel like a flume of some kind is needed at the park somewhere. I would love to see them take out Splash Over. because that ride is just terrible. But I don't think you could really fit a log ride in there very well. So,
Well, and I mean, this goes for kind of everything. As soon as a new regime takes over or new like management comes in, usually their first move is a really big crowd pleaser. And if Palace is in tune with the Adventureland fan base, then I think that they definitely know that a log ride is wanted, and that getting a log ride would make a lot of people be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, Palace, not that bad. I think that the future of the park is in good hands.
I think all Palace has to do is just check that Facebook page. All the amount of people that have said they want a log ride has been staggering. It is such a popular opinion that we need a log ride. Many people are, don't get me wrong, I disagree with this greatly, that the log ride was better than Monster. It hurts coming out of my mouth, but there was a lot of people who truly believe that. I think a log ride would be a perfect first edition, make good relations with the people of Iowa. Show that, hey,
yeah, I would agree with you. I would want to say, if I have to look at the statistics of kind of like running our Facebook page and looking at the comments of people, I would literally say it would be spot on. If we did a poll, 50% of people would be, I love the Monster, don't miss the log ride. 50% of the people would be, I missed the log ride, hate the Monster. And the thing is we have to remember that this first year of Palace owning Adventureland, so the 2022 season, we're getting additions that were planned by Adventureland, not Palace. We need to give it another year, see what they do.
So, kind of to close this out, why don't we, as a group, come up with a like loose 5-year plan for the park? Obviously, we know what is coming in. Is this 2022? Yeah, 2022, 8 or 9 new rides. What do we think for 2023?
by then I could definitely see that log ride being a possibility.
Yeah, I think that a log ride makes the most sense in 2023.
The good first step.
As much as RMC Tornado 2023 just rolls off the tongue, I think that a log ride is.
We've already put it on shirts. It's already on shirts. We were so close.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, but they got to find a place for it. You know, I think maybe 2023, let's see something happen with the underground, like a retheme, maybe work with Sally Dark Rides or something.
Especially with Lost Island focusing on theming.
Yeah. 2024, let's see something with the log ride, maybe. 2025, let's see something happen to that tornado. 50-year, that would basically almost put us at the 50-year anniversary of the tornado. Not quite, but pretty close. 2026, let's see a water park expansion. In 2027, that would basically be our 5 years. I think that would give something big. Access coaster, you know,
Access.
make year 5 with the bang, put that out next to the splash over. There's a lot of room over there.
By where the splash over was?
I'm sorry, not splash over. Can't think right off the top of my head what it's called. The terrible one next to the Outlaw that I hate so much.
Oh yeah,
Sawmill Splash.
Everyone loves Sawmill Splash. You can't go against Sawmill.
Yeah, Nick, you are in the minority in that one. Everybody likes Sawmill Splash.
Now you know how I feel.
I can't stand
the
it.
log ride.
I cannot stand it. Getting in that thing on a hot day, waiting in line forever to stick my feet in there, and then my shoes are all wet and disgusting.
You have to know how to ride it. Put your feet
wet.
up on the thing next to you. You don't you don't shove your foot in the puddle. What?
And
You're
people are
riding
wondering
it
why I hate
wrong.
log rides. Nick, how can you like log rides?
I
and
just
say that.
Log rides, I don't remember my feet being soaked in log rides. Besides,
Your
I
whole
don't know.
body's soaked. That's what are log rides for.
Well,
Cool
your
yourself
whole
off on a
body
hot
being
day.
soaked is better than just your
What?
feet being soaked.
That doesn't make any sense.
I think we've changed.
Yes, it does, because you get cooled
No.
off.
We've changed the topic.
I don't get cooled off sitting in a tube that doesn't even get me wet.
But your feet are still soggy.
The purpose of a water ride is to get wet, not just get your feet
Sawmill
wet.
Splash isn't a log ride. It's not a water ride, though. It's not meant to get you wet. That's not its purpose. It's meant to spin. It's a spinny ride, just disguised as a big trough.
Yeah, I still Still don't love it. And I think a lot of people agree with me.
Guess we have found the first incorrect opinion of the podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick McMahon, his bad opinions.
Sorry.
In conclusion,
Everybody has opinions.
Yeah, they can't all be right, but yours can be wrong. Maybe that'll be an episode down the road. It's hot takes.
Well, I gave my 5 years. What's your guys'
Ian,
5
you
years?
can do yours. I'll save the best for last.
more me. Okay. 5-year plan for Adventureland, depending on when Palace's plans come in and Adventureland's plans start to leave. I don't know if that would be immediately or many years down the road, but I would say to start with that log ride, just so Palace could show the Iowa public that, hey, we're here to help this park. We're not just some corporate entity that wants money. I could see maybe a year of thrill rides, something akin.
I'm sorry. I got to stop you for a second. I thought I would never hear that come out of you.
Yeah, I thought it would never come out of me either. But
I'm sorry, but I interrupted the 5-year plan.
oh no, it's only 2 years. But I'd say thrill rides after that. And then 3 years in, around the time when Tornado has reached its peak, I could, and this is a lot of hoping, honestly, I want that thing RMC'd. It's the best way to keep that coaster running without taking it away. No one wants Tornado to leave, but RMC would be the best way to not only make it better and more enjoyable, because there are so many people who complain that they just flat out cannot ride it because of how unbearable it is. This would make it not only smooth, but fun. There's a lot more to it than just up and down.
And I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's a classic down and back coaster. There's sadly not a lot of them left in the country. They need to revitalize it and give it another 50 years. It's literally one of, in my opinions, I may be a little biased because as a theme park enthusiast, we can be a little biased towards our parks, but it's probably one of the most classic attractions in Iowa.
So does that mean it's my turn?
Yep, Nick, go ahead, Jack.
All right. So 2022, 8 or 9 new rides, whatever ends up coming of that. Some family rides, according to Nick, I guess. 2023, I think, is the first year that we see Palace kind of take hold. I think we'll see.
So is that your year one then?
I think we see a log
We're
ride.
on the same page with that.
Log ride style of ride, and a water park expansion. I think we get 2 pretty big things in 2023. 2024, I think, is the next major thrill ride, which will be outside. I mean, unless you consider a log ride a thrill ride, but I think that 24 will probably be something specific, either a Raptor or just something from SNS, air launch coaster, a hyper, whatever. And then in 2025, I would say another water park expansion. I think that Palace is really gonna lean heavily into the water park.
So I think I might have missed something, but I didn't hear anything mentioned about RMC Tornado. You don't see that happening?
Unfortunately,
Stir
no.
up the court here.
I think that if anything happens to Tornado, it'll be a refurbishment, like new trains, new track, whatever, but it'll still be Tornado. I don't think RMC is ever going to come within 100 feet of it.
You know, I'd be okay with new trains if it didn't feel like there was square wheels on them.
Wouldn't
what I mean?
New trains replace the square wheels?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
Nick,
what I'm
usually
saying.
trains, they don't have square wheels. I don't know what you're saying here.
I'm saying the ride is so rough, it feels like the train has square wheels.
Oh. Well, thanks for explaining.
I thought that was pretty obvious.
Just for the record,
I just have to.
I understood it. I just wanted to make sure that you explained it so Eden understood it.
Well, okay, I see. It's because I don't like log rides, isn't it?
I don't like log rides either. I don't like any water rides, actually.
Finally, but
I don't think we need to go down this debate again.
we've been through this. In conclusion,
Subject for another episode.
Most of our 5-year plans include, but are not limited to, an access coaster at some point. Let's be real, of course. A water park expansion. We all know that Palace has a strong connection to the water parks. Won many water parks. I believe more water parks than amusement parks.
You're copying me. That's not fair.
It's fair.
I let you go first, so you wouldn't have to copy
more than
me,
fair.
and then you still copied me.
Okay.
Get some original
Finish it
ideas,
out, Jack.
please.
Let's finish it out. Conclusion time.
All right. In conclusion, I think that Palace will do big things for the park, which I kind of already talked about.
I think Palace is going to make Adventureland really put in a position to compete with Lost Island. I'm going to leave it at that.
I'm going to bring that up a notch. I'm going to say that Palace could definitely bring Adventureland to compete with the Cedar Fair parks by Adventureland within touching states, or even Six Flags Great America. It's beyond the corporate. It's beyond Iowa. It has become the Midwest. Adventureland is definitely stepping up that ladder.
I agree.
Well, I think.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in to the Iowa Theme Park Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for updates on future episodes about Iowa's theme parks. Comment and let us know what you would like to hear on future episodes.